All right, we're live. I'm going to give it a few shares, and then we'll get started in just a few minutes. Looks like we've got some watchers already. Hello.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, go ahead and give it a share. We've got a great update and show planned for today, and we'd love for you to help spread the word. I'm going to give it one more share. Thanks for tuning in. We're sharing this a couple places and waiting for a few more people. Hi, Lindsay. Lindsay's watching. All right. Awesome. I've shared it a few places. It looks like we've got about 11 folks tuning in. If you're just tuning in, give it a share at the bottom, and you can certainly drop some comments in the comment section, and we will do our best to answer those. I'm Kim Baker with the Gallatin Chamber of Commerce, and we are coming at you live today with the third episode of the S.E.E Show. As you may or may not know, the Chamber exists to support, educate, and engage our member businesses in the Gallatin community, and we're so happy to have a good friend of mine and a good community partner, Barry Young, the Executive Director of Sumner County Tourism, with us today. Welcome, Barry.
Thank you, Kim. Glad to be here.
At this time, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Barry. He's got a lot of updates as it pertains to tourism in the Sumner County area. And with that, I'm going to let you take it away.
Thanks, Kim. Well, as you might imagine, tourism has been hit very hard with the coronavirus. We have 14 hotels in Sumner County, and our occupancy obviously has dropped dramatically in the hotels. Of course, our restaurants have been hit very hard, as well as our attractions. In tourism, we think of visitors spending their money here in 5 different ways. One is with lodging, which would be our hotels or your Airbnbs, cabins, and things like that. Your attractions, which would be things like Rosemont or downtown Gallatin. Shopping, which would include your boutique shops, mainly, your things like on the square there in Gallatin. Dining, which is your restaurants. And transportation. A lot of people don't think about that, but most people drive in here, and when they come, they have to fill up their car with gas. So those are the 5 areas. And I'd have to say they've probably all been hit real hard. Of course, right now, we're kind of standing down. We're not calling people to action to come and visit right now. We're concentrating on just trying to ask them to stay loyal to us. Fortunately, most of our events county-wide, and some of those are your events with the Chamber, most of our events have been postponed and are being rescheduled for later in the year. We have had a few events that have been canceled. I know we've got one fishing tournament that was just canceled, and we've got one softball tournament that was canceled. But the rest of our events so far, knock on wood, have been postponed and will be rescheduled. So we're hoping to bounce back just as soon as this crisis is over. We want to bring everybody back. Obviously, it's really hurting our hotels and our restaurants and our other tourism folks, and we're doing everything we can to help them during this time.
Awesome. Hang on, I'm going to bring myself back on here.
Okay.
some specifics. What have you heard as far as closures or postpones for some of the larger events we would normally see in Sumner County within the next 60 to 90 days?
Well, let's see. Probably the next big event we have in the county that's still scheduled at this moment is the Middle Tennessee Strawberry Festival in Portland. And I know that the Portland City Council is going to talk about it at their meeting, which I'm assuming is a virtual meeting on April 20th. So that's the next thing. You know, some of the things that have been canceled so far is our Three Legends fishing tournament on Old Hickory Lake has been canceled. We've had a couple of other fishing tournaments, Crappie USA and King Cat, which is a catfish tournament. Those have been postponed, and we're hoping to still have those. Of course, Square Fest, I believe, has been postponed. Is that right?
That's right.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And we've had a softball tournament to be canceled. We've got several softball tournaments that are being postponed. So the next big thing we're looking at, I guess, is the Strawberry Festival. And of course, what I'm hearing through tourism channels, both with the state and with the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation, is they're saying that, you know, April's pretty much going to be canceled, and May is probably going to be canceled, and June is looking real iffy right now. So, for example, Butch Spearden, who's the head of the Nashville CVC, he said on a news interview 2 days ago that he is now aiming for July 4th. That's when he's hoping to bring the visitors back into downtown Nashville. And, of course, they have their big July 4th event, and he's talking about making it into a 3 or 4 day event.
They might have to, because everybody will be ready to get out again.
That's right. That's right. So, you know, as you know, and as everybody watching knows, we're living this day to day, and everything's iffy every day. But from what I'm hearing, it's sounding more like June, possibly July, before we can get things back to where they were. Of course, your meetings and your conventions and things like that, they're taking the biggest hit. There are no meetings and there are no conventions. And what the hotel folks are saying is once things get back to normal, the hotels are going to start getting what they call transient guests. We call it the consumer market. That's your mom and pop and, you know, that kind of your families. They're going to come back pretty quick. But your meetings and things like that are going to be a little bit slower to come back just because, well, you know, everybody's doing these virtual meetings now, and it's going to be a little bit slower for that to come back.
Let's talk for a second, because I'm sure that it looks like we've got over 40 folks watching right now, and I feel certain that some of them don't understand the significance of a fishing tournament or a softball tournament. So would you mind, I mean, I know why that matters to Sumner County, but break that down for them and tell them why that matters, and, you know, why a fishing tournament or a softball tournament happening here in Gallatin or Sumner County is important.
Okay, well, just to give you an example, Nashville announced a day or two ago that they've lost $300 million in revenue for downtown Nashville for the hotels and the restaurants. And, of course, they have a bigger staff than we have, and they have more resources. They are a little bit more sophisticated than we are, but we're estimating right now that our losses for our hotels and our restaurants are probably approaching $1 million. So when we have a tournament, let's just say we have a softball tournament and we have 50 teams. Well, you've got, you know, if it's a girls fast pitch tournament, you've got probably 12 to 15 people on the team, including the players and the coaches. And then they're going to bring mother and father and sister and brother and grandma and grandpa with them. And they're all going to fill up our hotels. And it's not just our hotels, it's hotels in Sumner County plus neighboring counties as well. And then they're going to eat in our restaurants. If a tournament lasts all week, they're going to come in. They're going to eat in the restaurants every night for the whole week. They're going to fill up their car with gas. And when they don't have a game going on, they may go to Walmart and buy some supplies, or they may venture out and go to Cragfont or Rosemont or something like that. So it's very important, of course, for the economy to work. You have to have locals eating in the restaurants, but you also have to have visitors to come in and stay in the hotels. And it's generated mainly by sales tax. So, you know, we're losing revenue every day that this crisis goes on. Of course, everybody's losing revenue. I understand that. But from a tourism standpoint, the hospitality industry has been hit really hard. And fortunately, we have STR, Smith Travel Research, here in Sumner County, their headquarters. And I've been on some virtual meetings with them. And last week, for example, in the United States, hotel, it's what they call RevPAR, REV/PAR, revenue per available room is what that stands for. And that's nationwide, that's down 80%. So basically, when we used to have 7, 8, 9 people out of 10 rooms, the rooms being occupied, now we've got 1 or 2 out of 10 rooms being occupied. And the only people in the hotels right now are business people who have essential jobs where they still have to travel, or you may have family or friends of folks who may not be able to stay with their family because of the virus or whatever. But the actual usual visitor we have, the non-essential business traveler and your event people for events, softball tournaments, fishing tournaments. You know, fishing tournaments the same way. People don't understand. Our office, we go out and recruit these tournaments, and yes, we have to give them certain things. We have to give them a bid fee to come. We pay them to come here, but what happens is that little seed money we give them turns into sales tax revenue for the city, the county, and the state. And so that, you know, our operation, we spend money to bring things here, and then it helps the economy and generates sales tax for the county, and it helps all of our residents.
Awesome. And it looks like Sarah just hopped on and dropped tourism contact information, so that's great. And then, so if you're watching and you want to find more out about Sumner County tourism, Barry's contact information, or how to get a hold of their office, it's in the comments. And then Barry's email is actually scrolling at the bottom right now. Tell me this, Barry, I've heard some discussion in other areas about, and I don't know if it's just discussion, about hotels being kind of utilized as different types of facilities right now, maybe to help care for folks. Or have you heard any discussion about that potentially happening in Sumner County, or anybody that would be prepared or willing to do that? I didn't know.
That's a great question, Kim. I have not heard of that happening here. I know that in some of the larger cities, some of the hotels have closed down, and that's where I'm getting back to in your cities, and Nashville's a great example. Your luxury hotels and your convention hotels that host conventions are down basically to zero. They don't hardly have any occupancy at all. And those are the ones I think they're talking about converting to temporary hospitals and things like that, because they closed down anyway. Of course, STR tells us that your suburban hotels, and I consider us, you know, for the most part, a suburb area, we're not hit. I mean, we're hit hard, don't get me wrong, but we're not hit as hard as the luxury and convention hotels in downtown Nashville, for example. We still have some occupancy, but it's down to around 20% or so. So as far as I know, I've not heard that they're going to do that here, and I've not heard of any of our hotels that have closed down. As far as I know, they're all operating. And Sarah, our sales manager, she reaches out to our hotels every day or two, and we try to get an estimate on how many room nights they've lost due to the coronavirus, how many cancellations they've had. And that's how we came up with that. It's probably hitting around $1 million now that we've lost in revenue. When I say we, the hotels and the restaurants.
Yeah, we've been doing the same too. We've been reaching out to our restaurants and actually navigating through all of our members throughout the past several weeks, just doing daily check-ins on them and trying to call a few. And so that's great to hear that y'all are doing that too. It's I think they need us now more than ever, and just to be a resource and just check in and be a friend. So well, and you know, tourism is kind of one of those things that a lot of people don't really realize everything that we do. And I hope, you know, this is a horrible thing, and I hope it passes as soon as possible. But I hope everybody sees how important. Just look at downtown Nashville, how hard they've been hit.
and people are losing their jobs. And tourism is a very important part of the economy. And I hope, you know, we're going to have to work harder than ever to get people back. And I hope people see how important it is for us. And we work hand in hand with all the chambers. And it's very important not only to have the locals to populate our activities and restaurants and things, but also our visitors. They work hand in hand to help our economy grow. And we're going to have quite a task in front of us to try to get it all back like it was. But we're ready to go.
Yep, we're starting to call that our rebound. And I think, you know, mentioning that July 4th event in Nashville, and I do believe that some of these events are going to see record attendance when we all come back. I hope so. I hope everybody's just ready to get out. I know I was on a conference call earlier and they said, I'm just so ready to hug everybody. I said, me too.
Well, and like I said, a lot of our events have been postponed to the fall or the late summer. And gosh, we already have events anyway. So it's like we're going to have so many events. We're going to be working day and night to get them all taken care of. But I think you're right. I think we've been cooped up now, for over 30 days. And everybody's going to be so excited to get back out. You know, I will mention we also have tour bus groups that come here. And just in the last 30 days, we were supposed to have 3 different tour bus groups here. And the good news is none of them have canceled. They've agreed to just postpone their trip. So hopefully we can regain a lot of this economic loss that we've sustained later in the year when things get back to normal.
I agree. Well, it doesn't look like we've had a lot of questions. As we start to wrap up, if you have any questions for Barry or me, certainly drop them in the comments. I will add that Barry and his team produce several great publications throughout the year. One of them is the Tourism Guide, and it's a county overview of all of the different sites, including the historic sites and things to do in Sumner County. And you can normally pick those up at the visitor centers across the state, which those are not all open and operating normal hours right now. Am I right?
That's correct. Your Tennessee Welcome Centers are only keeping their restroom facilities open, and the rest of the center is not open at the moment. But you can go online to our website, and our visitor's guide is there. You can look at it online.
Good. And we've got them stocked outside our office too. We've also have city maps. So if you are taking some time to do scenic driving tours and keeping safe distance from people, there's opportunities to do that. Barry's website is a great tool to find out about what's going on. Do you want to tell them a little bit about Now Playing Sumner since I've got you here?
Yeah, we have joined with the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. They have a thing called Now Playing Nashville, and that's basically the event calendar for Nashville, Tennessee. And our part of it is what's called Now Playing Sumner. So you can go to that event calendar and basically see everything that's happening in Sumner County as well as Nashville. So it's on our website. If you go to our website, visit SumnerTN.com, and just click on event calendar, that's going to show you all the Sumner County events. Or you can go to nowplayingsumner.com, or you can go to nowplayingnashville.com. All you got to do is just put in the zip code or a city, and it'll give you all the events. But that's a good tool that we have. And I'm assuming, Kim, you guys have at the chamber, you have a list of businesses that are open and closed. I'm assuming we have a county-wide list. Is it okay for me to give that link? We have a county-wide list that tells you all the restaurants and attractions and event cancellations. That's www.visitsumnertn.com/local-support. And you can go there and see things that have been business operations that have been changed. For example, a restaurant that's doing curbside service or delivery. It will also tell you about events that have been canceled or postponed. So we welcome you to go to that and get the latest information.
Awesome. PJ Davis with the Shalom Zone just chimed in and said, what about a map of the great murals so people can drive by? And somebody said the murals would be awesome to take kids to. So that'd be cool. Maybe that's a blog post for Taryn, the scenic mural tour.
Yeah, and actually, as we were talking here, I saw a message come through on my phone here that says we've just posted a new blog. I'm not sure what it's about, but Taryn just posted a new blog, but we'll pass that on to Taryn. And actually, there was a meeting that was supposed to happen with the Tennessee arts people, and we were going to go to it to try to get a grant to do more murals in the county, and that's been, of course, postponed. And but yeah, the murals, that's a big tourism thing now, as you know, and Gallatin has more than anybody that I know of in the county anyway. But visitors like to come and get their picture made, you know, in front of the murals. That's a big tourism thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And somebody chimed in with a COVID related question in case numbers. Barry and I are not equipped to answer those questions, but you could probably give the Sumner County Health Department a call, or stay on the lookout for the Department of Health's update in a couple hours, because they'll have those numbers. And sorry, I have a joiner. Well, awesome. Well, Barry, is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, everybody just hang in there. We're going to get through this, and we're going to work real hard, and we're going to work with Kim and her folks at the chamber to try to get restaurants, hotels, tourism activities back up and running just as quickly as we possibly can. Of course, we can't give you a date right now, but just as soon as we get the all clear, we're going to be back to work getting things going again.
Awesome. Well, I so appreciate you hopping on and joining us today for the S.E.E Show. We will be live again tomorrow at 11 a.m. on the Chamber's Facebook page with another episode of the S.E.E Show. We will be having Josh Curd with Simply Done Business talking about video shooting 101, because we all know that everybody's trying to learn video right now and become an expert on Zoom calls and video calls and Facebook Lives and all different things. So he's got some pro tips that'll help you. With that, Barry, thank you so much, and be sure to check in with him and get folks visiting again in the near future. So thanks, Barry.
Thanks for having me, Kim. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Bye.